right, hey everybody. It is Matt with Coffee and Darts, and Coffee and Darts is brought to you by Atomic Darts, as well as Magic Wear jerseys. So if you're in need of a jersey, or if your team's in need of a jersey, or you just want an all-around custom jersey, check out Magic Wear at magicwear.com. We're also brought to you by Shot Darts. So if you're interested in checking out the Shot Darts line, go ahead and head on over to shotdarts.com and check out some of the exciting barrels that they have there. So with us today is Jack, the darts referee. I'm super excited to have him on. He's a YouTube sensation, doing some incredibly fun videos. Let's go ahead and bring Jack on. Hey, Jack, how's it going?
Hello, it's going good. Thank you. How are you?
Doing well. So thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And it was kind of a last minute thing we were able to throw together, but I really appreciate it. So you were a professional referee, scorekeeper with the PDC. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I did it for nearly 6 years. It's about 5.5 years. And it was always something that I wanted to do. I always wanted to be involved in darts. And I got to probably 14, 15 years old. And I had dartitis as well. I was probably like one of the youngest people to ever have it. And I realized that my kind of like what I was going to do with darts probably wasn't playing. And I was because I started very young. I was very good at the maths very early on. So yeah, I kind of got to about 18 years old, looked into whether it's possible to work for the PDC or do anything with them, and I just managed to kind of get into contact with the right people at the right time, and went to my first event, and that was it. I was hooked on it. It was just something that I really, really enjoyed doing.
Nice. Yeah, the math, that's my biggest struggle when I play is the math. You know, I gotta look for cheats, and my son's phenomenal at it. He knows every number on the board. How did that, was it just something as a kid you really enjoyed math like my son does? How did that progress? And really, how much do you need to know the math when you're up there playing the darts?
Yeah, so I find that playing you learn as you go. If you want to be a referee, then it's not so much learning as you go. You have to already know it. But yeah, so I started playing when I was probably like 9 or 10, and the pub near us, there was a man who I used to play darts with a lot. He was one of the best players in the area, and he's someone who, like, today I consider him like a granddad to me. So I used to play darts with him all the time from about 10 years old onwards. And we used to always play winner stays on, loser chalks. And him being one of the best players in our area and me being a 10, 11-year-old kid, I was on the chalks a lot. So that was basically the way that you got on the board. You had to chalk a game before they'd let you play. So yeah, from a young age, I think I was pretty good at it.
Nice. So out of curiosity, because I know these are big questions that everybody's been asking, what was it like to be on the stage, to be chalking for the pros, and you know, are there any fun stories that come along with that?
Yeah, there's plenty of stories. I've got a few on my channel of times where I've like kind of messed up, or I've corrected things and just things have gone wrong, kind of. But yeah, so for me, it was very much like I got accepted in. I was allowed to go and mark. I had to go there and meet a few people, and they had to basically like watch me mark a game, make sure I wasn't complete rubbish. But yeah, so my first ever event I went to, it was in Crawley, which they don't use that venue anymore. But I went in. I saw a cash machine. I thought I might need some money for drinks and stuff, so I went in. Took some money out, and Gary Anderson like walked behind me. So he was like the first pro that I'd ever seen, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's Gary Anderson! No way!" And it was just insane. And then you walk into the room, and you know, like me being a huge darts fan as a kid and growing up, you walk in the room and you know every single person. Like they've got no idea who you are, but you know everyone. And it was just so surreal to walk in the first time and just to see all the players all practicing and stuff. And you got like, I remember seeing Ted Hankey was one of the first players I saw on the board, thinking I know who that is. I've seen him for years. And then Phil Taylor's there, and a young Michael Van Goen's over there. And yeah, it was just crazy, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I've been to the PDC tournament here in Vegas. It's not too far. I'm in California, and I remember that experience of walking through the lobby, and I ran into Snakebite and got a picture, and just that kind of the joy you get when you see these people, because you see them on the telly for you, or the TV for us, or computer screen more so, as we don't have it here other than through pdc.com or pdc.tv. So there's gotta be some fun and excitement to that. I gotta ask though, did anybody try and slip you a couple of bucks to, maybe adjust the score? Is that possible?
No, never anything like that. I honestly don't think any of the players would ever risk it. I think that's way too risky. But no, I mean, you do get the odd bit of gamesmanship here and there in games, and people complain about it, but it's kind of part of the game now, and you have to kind of deal with it, learn how to play through it, because some people do it, and yeah, it's just one of those things. But no, never been bribed. No.
Never been bribed. Well, I remember Phil Taylor when he was younger. I've watched some of those games, and he was a definite gamesman. He would certainly do what he needed to get the mental edge. Who do you think was probably one of the better players during the time that you were there that was good at getting the mental edge? And of course, we all know Gurn has his ways, but who was kind of sly about it?
I think for the most part on the Pro Tours and stuff, there is no noise. So when you start marking for players and they're kind of like giving it a bit of a cheer and stuff on doubles or a fist pump or something, which you really don't see at all. Even when a player wins a tour event, there's no reaction to it. So yeah, I don't want to go into people's names and stuff, but there's been a few games where I'm marking and I'm actually thinking to myself, am I going to have to step in a minute, because it's kind of getting a bit over the top now? And yeah, because there's obviously no noise in the Pro Tours. So yeah, but then there's always the kind of the board officials. There'll be officials who walk around and sort of deal with that for you, so you can concentrate on the games. And sometimes they'll pull players to the side and say, you need to kind of chill out a little bit. So yeah.
And I've got to ask the question that I'm sure everybody would want to, as being a former referee. What is your opinion of the Gurn Price, Gary Anderson situation? Would you have stepped in on that, or what's your refereeing opinion on that?
Yeah, I feel like I would have to, really, because it got to a point where it was almost too much, really. And you've got a Pro Tour equivalent of that was the Adrian Lewis, and I forget what his name was, that thing where they started pushing each other and everything. And yeah, it was Owen Binks was refereeing that, and he had to get. I mean, the image is quite funny, because he's not a massive guy, but Adrian Lewis is huge, and he's kind of trying to stand in between the two players, which I thought was very brave. But yeah, I feel like if it got to that point, you have to do something, or you have to say something, or at least delay anything until the security come through. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I'm one for getting into the game and having that hyped out moment. I am a Gurn Price fan, but I think that was an over the line situation, and I think they should have stopped play. In my opinion, I think they should have stopped play, said, you guys go back to the room. I know that's unprecedented, but that I think needed to happen. And there needed to be a conversation in the back room about where it was going to go. That's my opinion. I think it just went a little bit too far. At the same time, Gary's a good enough player that he should have quieted Gurn.
Yeah, and he wasn't an angel in that situation either, was he? Really? Yeah. That's a weird situation. I don't think we'll see that again for a little while.
No, I don't think so either. And I think Gary was dealing with some of the back issues that was, during that time frame. So, and I think it is what it is, and it's 2 years in the past at this point. So, it's been good for darts though, because 2 years later we're still talking about it. So I think it's been good to help push the sport along. So, out of curiosity, you've been on the Aki or at the Aki, 9 darters. Have you, and how many have you had the opportunity to score?
Yeah, I've officially scored 4. Two were Van Gogh, and one was Chizzy, and one was a guy called Johnny Haynes. So Johnny Haynes was my first one. He's not on the tour anymore, but he was really, really good player. I'm not sure what he's up to anymore, to be honest. But like unofficially, I've had, so when you're refereeing the game, you kind of get to a point where they've both had a few practice darts, and they're both looking like they're ready to get going. And for sort of timekeeping, they started asking the referees to speed up the games and say, look, you've got 9 darts each, and then it's the bullseye. So it was Adrian Lewis. I can't remember who he was playing against, but Adrian Lewis was playing, and I turned around and I said, is 9 darts each okay? And he said, yeah. And he went 180, 180, 1-4, 1 out in his 9 practice darts. And then I had another time I was marking for Kirk Shepherd. Yeah, Kirk Shepherd, and he hit a 10 darter with a bounce out during a leg as well.
That hurts.
Another yeah.
So, any good stories from ref? I mean, I'm sure there's some backroom stories. I mean, there always are. There's lots of things that we as fans don't get to see. There's a lot of friendship, I would assume, between the guys because they travel so much. But I'm sure there's some people that don't like each other. But anything you want to share that maybe we as just darts watchers, those that are at a tournament or watching online, any stories that we wouldn't know about that you can share without getting in trouble?
Yeah, I don't think it's a case of getting in trouble with the PDC. It's just a case of I don't want to like talk bad about someone and then try and do something with them on my channel and say, well, you said this about me. But no, I feel like a lot of the players do get on, and it is just it's darts and it's business to them, and they do get on. But I think the majority of the time, if two people don't like each other, they don't interact with each other. So there aren't many problems when it comes to the Pro Tours and stuff. Everyone's pretty professional with it. Yeah, there's not really a lot.
So, well, that's a good sign then. If everybody's for the most part getting along and there's not big rifts between individuals. And I know that Gerwin and some of the people that he's irritated over the time have been able to work through those things. I know like he and Peter at the Worlds, as much as they are friends, there was a little bit of gamemanship and during that match, but Peter wasn't playing. Peter was there to play the sport. He wasn't there to play around. And I think Gerwin was there to play around. And who won? Who's exactly, holding the chance? So I think there's a time and place for it. So out of curiosity, have you ever misscored for someone?
Yeah. I've never made any like big mistakes. I remember the first mistake I ever made, and I was literally like upset about it. And I'd been marking for a couple of years as well, so I thought I'm like past the point of making mistakes. And it was like it was like a complete irrelevant mistake, but it's like that always stuck with me. And it was just a case of someone had 401 left, and they scored a ton, and I writ 401 again. I'd forgot to take off the 1. That was it. But for like the rest of the day, I was thinking to myself, I made a mistake earlier. Am I going to do it again? And it literally plays on your mind, and you start thinking that I've not made a mistake in 2 years or whatever, however long it's been. But now I've made one. I'm like, am I going to do it again? Is it going to be another mistake? And then another time, it was on a stream board, and I don't know if it was. I haven't seen it on YouTube or anything. I have to try and see if I can find it. It was Simon Whitlock. He was playing against, I think it was Lee Evans, and Whitlock had gone like treble 16, and then he hit another treble, like treble 15. And I just turned to him and I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I obviously I could have like thought about it, but it was like the end of the day, and I was tired, and it was like quite late in the day, and it was on a Sunday. And I was like, I've got no idea what that is. So I had to like stop him, look at where his darts were, and like, really concentrate to work it out, because I was just so tired. But yeah, those 2 times.
So you guys, it's purely mental. You don't have a calculator up there just in case, someone throws in a treble that you're just not. It's like, what's that number again? There's nothing up there to help you guys. It's purely what's in the head.
Yeah, and I think there's for me anyway, there's like a weird sort of, I think everyone have to have their own weird sort of little techniques on how they do the maths. If you could see what is going through my head while I'm working out the darts, you wouldn't have a clue what I'm even looking at or trying to work out. I don't know. It's quite weird. I think back to what I was thinking at the time. I think I don't even understand my own brain when I'm trying to work out these numbers, but eventually I get to the correct number. Yeah, and there's just loads of a lot of marking is being able to anticipate what they're going to throw as well. So when I first started marking, that was something that caught me out a lot. Was different shots around the low 300s that people would intentionally go to not leave themselves bogey numbers and stuff like that. And that caught me out a few times when players have gone. I think it was Gary Anderson. He wanted 309. He went treble 19, bullseye, or I think he hit a 25 last start. And obviously, like now, that's an easy number to work out. But back then, I think he scored 139 to leave 170. But back then, he threw 2 treble 19s. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, he's going to hit another treble 19 or a 19. It's going to be 171 or 133. And then he hits the bullseye, it's just completely, or the 25, it just completely throws you. But just learning where the players tend to go on different numbers and sort of anticipating where they're going to go makes it a lot easier.
And then you come up to MVG, who just throws wherever he wants because he's having fun and he's trying to get to the big fish, and he'll figure it out. So.
Yeah. But as far as players go, this is something that I get asked a lot in my streams, which is who are the hardest people to mark for, and my answers are always the same, and it's always Jamie Caven and Jelle Klassen. And the reason I give is because I feel like they're the only 2 people in the room who are better at maths than I am. And they throw quick as well, so their brains are on another level when they're switching between whatever they're going for and leaving shots and stuff. And you have to really concentrate on the fast players who use a lot of switches, and those 2, obviously, Klassen especially, really quick, uses the bullseye all the time. He'll throw like a random treble 18 or treble 17 when you're expecting a 19 or something. And yeah, it's just trying to like keep on top of it and it's kind of expecting where they're going to go. That's the hard bit.
Yeah, I've noticed when I've seen like the Americans when we come over for tournaments, sometimes because we play so much soft tip, and of course we've got the systems that are counting for us, we'll step back more often than not and try and work the numbers out. And then the European players are just super quick, and it blows my mind to watch how fast they come up with the numbers. And then the scorekeepers, you guys have to be just as quick. Out of curiosity, how many scorekeepers, if someone wanted to become a scorekeeper, let's go with that question. If someone wanted to get into being a scorekeeper for the PDC, what's that look like?
The process to get there.
Yeah.
Well, when I started, I just happened to find the person who was running it on Facebook and sent him a message. But back then there was I think I was maybe the 8th marker there, and there was 16 boards. So when I started, half the boards were self-marked and half the boards had markers on them, and it was all voluntary, so we didn't get paid on it or anything. So it was quite easy for me to get into it because they just needed people. But I've been away from it for about 2.5 years now. And the last I heard, they've got a list of 50 people all queued up, ready to get into the next event, because there's just so many people who want to do it now. How to get into it now would be, I guess, just to find someone who's still involved on social media and ask the question to them, because they'll be able to give you a much better answer. But I know there's a long list of people who are wanting to do that now.
So it's certainly changed in a matter of a few years. And I think the sport in itself over the last 5 or 6 years has blown up internationally and worldwide. Do you think the same thing? I mean, have you seen that from being involved with the sport and seeing where it is now? Do you think there's been some massive growth?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely. I mean, we're looking at probably in the next couple of years, £500,000 PDC World Championship win just for first place, which is just insane money. But yeah, so the money's growing. I think the sport grows as the money grows as well, and sort of the other way around. It all goes together. So a good way of seeing how it's doing is to see what the prize money's like, because it just keeps going up and up and getting crazier and crazier. But yeah, loads more youngsters coming through now. Definitely turning into a younger person's game. The JDC as well, they're doing bits. I think they're doing a really good job with their JDC challenge, what Steve Brown's doing. And yeah, we've got there's 15, 14-year-olds who are throwing 90 averages now, and like consistently. And there's a few of them. It's not just one. And yeah, it's just crazy. Just the youth of darts is there, and I feel like that's obviously that's the future of darts, and it's just going to keep getting better and better. I don't know if the standard is even possible to get better. I don't think people can throw consistent 120, 130 averages. I can't see it getting that high with the equipment that we're currently using. I think that is just kind of impossible. I think when Michael Van Gogh or Peter Wright or Phil Taylor throws like 120 plus average, that's like an anomaly, really. It's just like a purple spot. But yeah, but whether the sport is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's going to keep getting bigger. I think it's the second most watched sport in England as well, behind football. But yeah, I don't know about the standard. I think it'll just be a case of more players who are sort of like 32 to 64 will start throwing consistent 100 plus averages. That's what I think.
Yeah. From what I've been watching over the years, we of course, when we were in the bars, or when darts was more played in the pubs and the bars, and that was the starting point, the averages, were in the 70s, and we've seen it get to, and even like Peterson this past weekend against Gerwin with that 115 average, he still couldn't beat Gerwin, but it decimated Gerwin. He came into that finals and he had nothing left. When I'm in agreement with you. I see 112, 115 being the peak that we're going to see on a consistency, and that's still going to be a push. So I am curious, because not only were you a darts referee, you are now the darts referee on YouTube. And I believe you started the channel about 8 months ago, and you've had incredible, massive growth, which I think is awesome. I've loved and enjoyed all of your videos. Some of them are just hysterical. Some of them are great stats and just great information about darts and the PDC. But you've done some seriously, dropping a dart from a tree. It's been some fun stuff to see you do, shooting the pencil darts, the largest flights, all of that fun stuff. What was the antithesis to this? What brought about the desire for the channel, and what's that like?
So originally, I used to have a YouTube channel, which was, I used to play Call of Duty and I used to play Fortnite. I used to do video games and stuff. So that was what my original channel was years ago. And I got to a point where I was like, all right, I want to do another channel. But like the only two things I know like everything about is gaming or darts. They were the only two options I had. And I've always stuck with gaming, because I always thought if I could get big on there, I'd earn millions and I'll be like really famous and all of that. And I don't know, I feel like it's too broad of an area to try and get into. If you don't stand out straight away, you've got no chance. So I thought I would tackle darts, try darts. But when I had the idea, I was still marking for the PDC. So this was like probably 3 years ago, I reckon. And I created a channel. I called it Bag of Nails Darts. Created this channel, and I made a video for it, and I watched the video and I just didn't like it. I thought it was a rubbish video. So that never took off. I just forgot about it, never did it, and that was it. And then I started seeing a bit more of an interest in darts on YouTube, and I thought, right, now might be a good time to try it again. So I originally went with the PDC referee. That was my name originally. So I had that for a couple of months, and the whole point of that was that if my selling point is that I worked for the PDC and that was my job, and that was kind of like how I was going to be an insider, and how people were going to say like, this guy knows what he's talking about because he's done this and he's done that. But then I got an email from them, and they were like, right, you need to change your name because you're not associated with us. So I just decided on the darts referee. So that happened. I probably have about 1,500 subs at this point when I changed my name, and I kind of thought the name change would make me a little less relevant, or a little bit less like it. People wouldn't look at me and go, like we know what you've done, in the same way that I thought the PDC referee, the name would have done. But yeah, it kind of just did the opposite. I feel like breaking away from them helped me, because when I was called the PDC referee, I didn't want to speak badly about the PDC. I didn't want to tell my stories from being on the Pro Tour because I didn't want to get into trouble. But now I'm not. Now I'm like nothing to do with them. I feel like I can speak a lot more freely, even though I wasn't even like working for them anymore. I feel like I can speak a lot more freely. I can do my own ideas. I can make it fun. And for me, you know, almost all of my ideas are just repurposed ideas. Like finding truly like unique content on YouTube is literally impossible, because everyone's done it. But I just thought, if I can take a bit of this channel, like all the people that I watch, a bit of this, a bit of that, and I can turn it into a darts related video. So a channel that I used to watch all the time was Braille Skateboarding, and they're just a fun channel. They do skateboarding, and they make their own skateboards and they skate them, and then they do all of this sort of stuff, and they have people who send them bits and pieces and they turn them into skateboards. And I thought, if I could do a similar thing to them, and they also do like the world's worst trucks on Amazon, or the world's worst wheels, or the world's worst deck. And I thought, if I could just kind of like take a few ideas from them, but make it the world's worst flights, or the world's worst stems, or the world's best whatever, and kind of like turn it into my own thing, then yeah, it worked. And I see a lot of people now, other channels, who do similar stuff because they've seen it work. And yeah, and then there's loads of other channels. I've taken little ideas from massive channels who I watch, and I've kind of like just taken the idea and turn it into a darts video.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I personally love your videos. I've never tried to emulate I thought about it. I at one point I was throwing screws and getting them to stick, and I thought, oh, I'll do one of those, but that's not my bag. You know, it's not where I sit. I'm doing reviews primarily. But I love your videos. They're great. I get a kick out of them. My son, my 6-year-old, loves your channel. Yeah. He's always wanting to watch what you've got on. It's interesting, Braille. I know a gentleman over there. He used to create thumbnails for a living, and he now works with Braille. And so I've caught on to some of their stuff. And it's very much a comparison. You're doing a lot of stuff that, with that idea of what would be, it's like, okay, let me take a stick and I'll turn it into a dart. You know, let me take a toothpick and create a dart out of it. I don't know. Have you done that one yet? I'm trying to think of. Yeah, you did. Okay, you did. Yeah. So, but I love your channel. So coming up with ideas. I mean, you touched on a little bit, but do you have like a schedule that you do, or is it just like, hey, I come up with this idea, I'm going to shoot a video? What's that process kind of for you?
So I started blowing up on YouTube sort of like when lockdown first hit. So when everyone's stuck inside, they've got nothing to do and nothing to watch. That's when I started blowing up. And because I had all the free time, it was very much, I had a schedule for the week, and I'd make this video and it'd upload the next day. And the next day I'd make that video and it'd upload the next day. And I'd plan it through. And that was very successful for me. And every video probably got at least 5,000 views on it. Sometimes I was getting videos. I had a couple of videos that did over 100,000 views. And yeah, it was very planned. It was very methodical, and I had my ideas. But the problem is, now I'm back at work, and I'm working hard days as well. Being a tree surgeon, it's quite a physically demanding job. And I get home, and I'm doing a lot more of the streaming now as well. And I get home, and I'm like, it's 4:00. I stream at 7. I might try and make a video in that time and get it uploaded, but it's just tough. Really, really tough to manage my time. And I find the streaming, I really enjoy the streaming, and it's fun. I really do like it, but I kind of feel like I'm losing track of what I'm doing at the moment, and I need to kind of like take a step back and start up the schedule again. But then, the ideas do run out. That's the tough thing as well. And I found that whenever I do news related data stuff, so if I talk about the match play or something, or if I do that sort of thing, unless I've put some sort of fun twist on it, like I don't know if you've seen my tier list videos. I I think that's a fun twist on news, or that's a fun twist on giving my opinion, because there's like an interactive thing about it. They can go and do it themselves, and they can see it sort of visually, my ideas or my thoughts. But I have found that my videos struggle if I'm just sat there just talking about my views. So I have to kind of get quite creative with it, and I have to really think about what I'm going to do, because I don't want to upload a video just for the sake of uploading a video as well. That's what I've found recently is I know that if I don't put 100% into a video, or I make a video, and sometimes I make a video and I think the thumbnail's rubbish, the title's rubbish, and then it gets like one of the worst views I've had in the past week. And yeah, I've got to the point now where I can just spam upload videos, and I can do this and I can do that, but I want to start making videos that are really entertaining, and people who don't even watch darts can watch it and think that's cool. I'm going to watch him, not because I like darts or anything, but just because he really puts a lot of effort into his work. And I do find the last month or so, I really feel like my content has slacked to my own standard, just because I know I'm not putting the effort in that I should be. So again, that's something that I'm going to have to like really look into and start giving myself time to do it and actually doing what I want to do.
Well, I can say as someone, I've been doing YouTube for about 2 years now, and I have had my major ups and downs, and I've been able to push forward really. And I'll part of it is because of you, because I was watching your videos every day and not doing my own. And I'm like, okay, I'm at home, just like everybody else. Why don't I get back to doing it? And I'll tell you, I'm a father. I know you have the puppy. I know you have Bob's, but I don't think there's any kids in the picture.
No.
But it's draining, because you're trying to do the videos and you want to do them well. And so I totally get where you're at, and it's a push, but I love your stuff, and I know everybody else really enjoys what you're doing, and you can tell. You can tell that you're having a good time with it. Just out of curiosity, because I know you're friends with Edgar TV.
Yeah.
And I know that your girlfriend Bob's plays his girlfriend. I'm blanking on her name.
Jody.
How does that relationship? I mean, do you guys live close to each other? Is that the situation, or is it just from the PDC, or?
No, it's literally neither. Well, we live probably two hours apart. But when I was marking, he was never someone who I even spoke to. I'd marked a few of his games here and there, like I had everyone. But yeah, he was never someone who I spoke to. And when I started doing YouTube, he probably had like 2,000-3,000 subscribers, and I always kind of knew he was there. But I overtook him quite quickly, and he was just doing like. I
just want to point. You overtook most of us quite quickly.
But yeah, so he was doing his thing, and then. Yeah, so I was probably at about 10,000 subscribers, 12,000, something like that. And he dropped into one of my streams and was like, we should do a video. So, yeah, so we FaceTimed, spoke about it, and we were talking about the video idea and what we can do. And we just worked out something, and we ended up being like this silly darts. I was using darts that had 100 mil points on them, and he was using darts that someone had made out of wood or something. And yeah, so from there, we talk all the time. We're always chatting on Facebook all the time, and yeah, so it's like I've had the darts, and I suppose obviously the YouTube is darts related, but it's odd to think that I met him through YouTube. I didn't meet him through darts, even though I'd been around him for so long. But yeah, so we've got plenty coming along, and he's smashing me at the moment on daily subscribers and views and stuff. He's doing really well. So, it's one of those things. I feel like I've helped him to 10,000, and I feel like he's probably going to help me to 20.
Yeah, I love what you guys are both doing, and I've seen a huge change in his videos in the last few months. Definitely from where he was at. He was doing more stuff at tournaments than the fun, like driving over a dartboard and seeing how durable. So that's your influence.
Yeah, that's definitely not him from a year ago's ideas. Yeah, for sure.
So, out of curiosity, who are other YouTubers that you do follow? I know it's hard. I myself, I watch a little of your stuff, I watch a little of his stuff, and I catch a little here and there throughout the week. But we can't watch YouTube all day long and try and make videos. So, there are a few that you follow.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few of them that I subscribe to. But to be completely honest, when I watch YouTube, I watch like Braille skateboarding, or I watched like Dude Perfect, or How Ridiculous. Like I've got like their merch on today. I don't really watch a lot of darts on YouTube, to be honest. I never rewatch matches. I'll watch Matt's videos because we're mates and it's nice to see what he's getting up to. There's another guy. His name's Brian, I think, and his channel was called CV Darts. Or I think he might have changed it. It's called like Darts Class. He's on Twitter. I think it's Darts Class, and his channel was something like that, or CV Darts. And yeah, I discovered him a few months ago, and yeah, I felt like I really enjoyed what he was doing. And the thing was, I could see the effort that he was putting into his videos as well. That's it. Yeah, he's nearly at 1,000 subscribers now. He actually just had his first child, so there's a big like gap in his uploads. But he's back again, and yeah, I watched a few of his videos, and I was like, he's really got it. He's got the idea. He's making videos that are fun. I mean, he could definitely like work on his thumbnails a bit and stuff like that. But it's just stuff that comes with time. Like if I had never done my old channel, then I feel like I wouldn't know how to do thumbnails and stuff like that. And yeah, but I really like his content. I think he makes it fun and he makes it interesting. And what I like about him is he puts so much effort into what he does, and it shows in the videos as well.
Well, awesome. I just subscribed, so I'll be certainly checking him out. I like watching different darts people out there. And to be honest, I get some ideas from it, but I think I found my niche. Not that we're talking about me. I think I found my niche just doing reviews. To be honest, I don't care if anybody watches my stuff.
Yeah.
I just do it, the fun of doing it, and my kids enjoy it, and they are always watching. And so for me, it's more about that. I have the opportunity to work with companies like Shot Darts and with Magic Wear. I've been able to develop those relationships, so that makes it even that much more fun. But I'm having more fun watching like what your content, what you're doing, because it's beyond what I'm currently doing. So, but there is a question here, and I think it leads into something that I think we should do. And so Scottish Lad, who is actually the one that introduced you and I more so as far as this happening, the stream. So thank you. But he's got a question as to who do you think is going to win the match play? And I thought what we would do is answer that question. But at the same time, I've got a list of all the first round matches. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious who you think's going to win. And I'll give my opinion of who I think's going to win. So I'm going to read those off, but we'll start off with, who do you think's going to win match play?
I think Van Gerwen wins, and I hate giving that. I hate giving that answer because it's so boring. Because he just wins everything. It's such a boring answer, but that's who I think is going to win. If I had to go for someone other than Van Gerwen, and sort of, if I had to go for more like who do I want to win, there's loads of players who I want to win, but I think Glenn Durrant would really benefit from winning the match play, and I think he's good enough to do it. And I would really like to see him win a major in the PDC this year. I think that'd be cool. And yeah, so I want Glenn Durrant to win, but I think Van Gerwen's going to win, and I'm not focused.
Glenn. I think Glenn has the game for sure to win. My thing with MVG, and I say this all the time, I think because of the young family that he's got, and that situation, and he's always said, "I've got an exit plan." And in my opinion, if you've got an exit plan, you're already working that. I don't think MVG takes this one. I think this is the tournament where I just see him. He's okay with losing. He used to not be okay with it. But if you see him now, he'll lose and he's like, oh, all right, well, next week. It's kind of the mentality. It's not that I'm going to crush and kill you mentality that he used to have. So I think he goes out like third round. That's my opinion. I don't know who he'll be up against, but I think he goes out third round. But let's run through first round and see if MVG or Glenn Durant or someone else comes to mind. But
Okay.
so we've got, again, this tournament starts on Saturday. This is the Betfred World Matchplay. And Rob Cross won it last year. And so this is it's a week-long tournament. For those that don't know, it starts on Saturday and it pretty much runs to the next Sunday where the final is played. So first round starting Saturday. This is the early morning session. First up is Simon Whitlock against Ryan Joyce.
Yeah, I think Simon takes that.
I'm in agreement on that one. I think Simon gets into second round. Second, third round is where he's going to struggle.
Yeah.
I love Simon. I love him. I love his beard, and I think he's a great guy to watch. He's fun. I don't think he has the heart and the desire that he once had. That's my opinion. So next match is going to be Krzysztof Rotowski against Jeremy Wadamina. I'm horrible on that one. I think Rotowski takes it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think him being quite methodical is going to probably play against Wadamina a little bit because he's really quick, isn't he? Yeah, I think Rotowski takes it, and I think it's going to be quite comfortable as well, like a 10-4 or something.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think he's just methodical. It's fun to watch him. He has no expressions. He just plays. I like watching him. So next up is one of my favorite all-time darts players, and that is James Wade. Mm-hmm. He's going up against Keegan Brown.
Yeah, I think James wins that, and I think he wins it quite comfortably. Keegan, although he didn't have a bad summer series, I thought, but he hasn't practiced. He had a really bad what was the darts at home thing, because he works for the NHS and he was doing everything on the front line to keep everyone safe and stuff. So I would assume his priority wasn't darts over the majority of lockdown. But no, I think you've got to take that into consideration a little bit, and I think James wins that.
I agree. I'm just a big James fan. I love that he's the guy that you never expect to win that wins.
Yeah.
And I love his mannerisms. He's a gentleman, and yet there's a nasty side to him. I don't think I wouldn't want to piss him off, basically. So our next match is going to be MVG against Brendan Dolan, which I think is a tough opponent for MVG, but I agree. I think MVG pulls that one off.
Yeah, I think MVG wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dolan went like 3-1, 4-1 up. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. But I do think, regardless, I think you can go 7-1 up. I think MVG still wins that.
Yeah, and MVG will pull the socks up, and then games on, and it's he needs to like trademark that. He needs some socks. He needs to get the MVG sock and market that. So next we got Gary Anderson and Justin Pipe.
Yeah, another one. I was talking to someone about this on Twitter, and I said every single possible score outcome wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. Either way, it's one of those you never know what Gary's going to turn up. Justin has got an elbow injury at the moment, I think. So he's really struggling. He pulled out the last two summer series tournaments as well. So no one knows what the deal is with that, whether he's over it or he's good or not. But yeah, Justin can play. And so can Gary, and Justin can have off days, and so can Gary. It's going to be a tough one to call, I think. I still think Gary wins. If I had to put money on it, my money would go on Gary, but I wouldn't be surprised either way.
I agree in regards to the way Gary was playing during summer series. He played a good 5 days. I mean, he played well. No wins, but he was playing well. And I think Justin's got, if his elbow's okay and he's healthy, I think that's the one I would circle where you would see someone that you didn't think would go out first round would go out.
Yeah.
On that one. And then later on Sunday, our next first round is going to be Menser against Jamie Hughes.
That's a tough one to call, because I still don't know what Jamie Hughes is really like on TV when he plays. He's good on the floor, but I still don't know because he's not been on TV very often, and when he has, he's not played like he's played okay, but like not amazing. And then Sulovic, he's gonna be like Ratajski. He's gonna plod along. He won't average probably more than 100. He won't average less than 97. He's gonna plod along in that kind of area. And if he's one of those players, if you're good enough to beat him, you beat him. If you're not good enough to beat him, you don't. It's one of those, I think.
Yeah, I kind of think that Jamie Hughes is gonna. I just have this from what I've watched. I think he's gonna pull that one off. I love Mensah. I think in the last 6 months, 7 months, prior to the lockdown, his game was it was a little off. In my opinion, from watching him, he wasn't going as deep into tournaments as you would think he would go, and he just seemed to be a little off. Like that match against why am I blanking on her name now? That's horrible.
Fallon.
Fallon. I mean, if you watch that match, it's like he was there, but he wasn't really playing. So I don't know. That's one it's hard for me to call. I'm going to go with Jamie Hughes on that one. So I'm going to disagree with you. Let's go with Glenn Durant against Jeffrey DeSwan. Jeffrey DeSwan he's one to watch out for sure. But you think Glenn takes that?
Yeah, I think he does. I think that's a really, really tough first round game for Glenn for sure. Because was it 2 years ago he done Van Gogh in first round? But yeah, he's one of those players who he can beat anyone. When he first come on the tour, I remember marking him, and I turned to someone. I was like, he's like a machine because he had no emotion. He didn't speak once during the match. He didn't make one noise. He didn't do anything, and he was just like bang bang every single time. He was 140, 180, doubles out, 76 out, 80 out, whatever. And it was like watching a robot play darts. But he was that was his zone. But yeah, I think Glenn wins it. I think it's first to 10 the first round. I'll go 10-7 about that. Like he'll win it, but not comfortably.
Yeah, I think Glenn wins that as well. I think Jeffrey's it's a hard one to pull. I feel kind of bad for Glenn for how well he's done to pull Jeffrey first round because Jeffrey he's methodical and he's a good darts player. So that's going to be an interesting one. But I think Glenn's I think Glenn wants this tournament more than anybody else. A little bit I've heard of him talk about this tournament. He wants this tournament to say, I belong here in the PDC.
Yeah.
So our next up is Rob Cross against the Big G, Gabriel Clemens.
I'm going Clemens on that.
I'm there too. Yeah. I love Rob Cross. I love his story. I love Rob Cross. It's like he won the world championship. He's like, okay, I did it. Now what?
Yeah, his story is insane.
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
Yeah. Okay, and then next we've got Peter Wright against Jose de Sousa.
Yeah, Peter Wright.
Peter's playing phenomenal. He played well in Summer League. Of course, he technically won it money-wise. He's. I'm a huge Peter Wright fan, as you can see right over there. There's a jersey on the wall. My son has a signed jersey. We love Peter Wright in this household. So, and then next up, this is probably the match that I want to watch most for on Sunday is Michael Smith against the Ferret, Johnny Clayton.
Yeah, should be a good game. Well, the last time they played, I can't remember what tournament it was, but it might have been like the Grand Slam, and Michael Smith absolutely obliterated him. It's like 5-0, and I don't know if did he hit a 9-darter in it as well. I can't remember. But yeah, I'd have to go with Michael Smith. I feel like Michael Smith's the smart answer there.
Yeah, and he's lost some weight. He's looking good. He's had time with a family, which I think is good. And my son, that is his. He ranks Michael Smith and Peter Wright. I think he gets Michael Smith a little bit more. I think he's more of a Smith fan than a Wright fan. He absolutely loves him. And so I'm excited to see that one go off. And then on Monday, we get the Chizzy, Dave Chisnell against Vincent Vadavut. I've got Chizzy on that one, but
Yeah, me too.
I think I'm excited to see Dave really come in and play some darts. Like we all know, he's an incredible darts player. He knows how to throw the arrows, and he's a 180 machine. I just hope he comes in. I want to see him get deep into the tournament.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him make semifinals personally. And then we got Ian White against Joe Cullen. I could go either way on this one.
Yeah. There's a lot of discussion about that one because obviously Ian White, the thing is, he averages like over 100 nearly every game, even on TV, but he doesn't get the TV wins, which is just weird. He just draws bad players. Like, who was it? Labanauskas. He had over 100 average, lost first round of the Worlds. He's kind of almost got this reputation now of being someone who loses on TV, which is just like almost down to bad luck, I feel, in a lot of the cases. But with this tournament, no crowd, this is when we're going to see if Ian White, the floor Ian White, does if this is the transition that he needs, a tournament without the crowd. Whether that makes a difference or not, I've got no idea. But yeah, I feel like we could either get an Ian White 110 average or Joe Cullen wins. I feel like it's like one extreme or the other.
I mean, I like Ian White. He's I don't know, he's kind of that interesting player. I just like his mannerisms, and he's good. He's a great darts player. He's a great journeyman, been in the sport and does well. Joe Cullen, he either shows up and plays extremely well, or he is just off the marker. It's kind of one or the other from what, the tournaments I've seen him play. Next up is Gerald Gurn and Ricky Evans.
I feel like the smart answer is Gurney, but I want to see Evans win.
Yeah, I started out as a really big Gurney fan. I really liked who he was, but as I've watched his offstage presence over the last couple of years, it's kind of soured my desire to see him win as much.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but I like Ricky Evans. I just like his bubbliness. It's kind of fun to watch. So I'm hoping that Ricky Evans wins that, and I think he's got a great chance. I think
sure.
And that's the interesting thing to go back a couple of years. I remember MVG making a comment about Gurney and saying he doesn't belong in the top players, and I always questioned that comment. And then as I've watched, I've seen, I think it has to do with the offstage presence, not his darts. But that's a whole nother story. So next up is Gerwin Price against Danny Norpin.
Yeah, Price. Got to go with Price on that one. Yeah,
Bryce. And again, I'm a Price fan. Again, he's got a great story. I don't think a lot of people understand. He hasn't been in darts, professional darts, for that long.
No,
he hasn't been on the PDC for a long time, and he's in the top 3. I got to clear my throat. Sorry.
No worries.
Haven't had enough coffee this morning. So, and then to end out Monday night, we got Adrian Lewis and Steve Beaton.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be the match that I enjoy the most. That Adrian Lewis is my favorite player, and Steve Beaton is easily one of my probably top 5. So I'm looking forward to that match. I think Lewis takes it, and I think he'll be like 10-8 or something. I think it'll be really close, but I think Lewis will take it.
Yeah, Adrian looked really good Summer Series. He played well. He was thinned down. He's happy to be playing again. You can see that in his mannerisms. I love Steve Beaton, though.
Legend.
I mean, yeah, he's a legend. He's been around the sport since it was incepted, almost. I mean, the guy's got to be 200 years old. He and Phil Lim, like, they were born together or something. I don't know. I think Steve Beaton takes it, though.
Yeah,
I think he does. He does really well at this tournament. I think he pulls it off. And then to end the first round, it'll be Tuesday morning. It's the first match of Tuesday morning. Well, at least for me, Tuesday morning. It's Nathan Aspinall against Dimitri Vanderberg. So we've got 2 young guns going at it. I think Asp takes it. He's playing phenomenal.
Yeah, so do I. I can't see past Nathan Aspinall there.
Yeah. Nathan is the one. I think he's the outside shot to win this whole tournament.
Yeah, I agree.
He's just playing superb darts, and he's very comfortable in his skin playing the darts. He's very good up there. I did have one question for you before we kind of get to the end. I guess really two more questions. What is your thought on Cadby coming back to the PDC? Because he's made that known that he wants to come back and that he's straightened up his life. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I've not like researched it enough to find out what he said or anything like that. Loads of people talk about it in my streams, and I feel like I can't really engage in the conversation because I just have no idea what's going on. The fact that he give up his tour card and then within 6 months wants it back again seems so odd. But I am happy to see him back. There was talks that he was going to go do the BDO circuit, which I feel like he probably does the BDO circuit and then wins the World Championships. So if that's his kind of like course, then I feel like he wins that. I feel like he's the best player there if he does that. But if he comes back to the PDC, obviously he's going to have to do Q school again. But I can't see him struggling. It just depends on how he gets on the really long days, because that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year. I don't know if he can do the rest of the world Q school. I feel like he might have to come to the UK one. But yeah, I do think he'll get through if he decides that's what he wants to do. But yeah, easy top 32 player in the world. Potential top 16, and then in a few years I think he could be like a Premier League player. But yeah, I've got no idea. It'll be interesting to see how he comes back and what he's been up to and if he's been practicing or not, because that'll all be quite obvious when he comes back as well. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I like him as a player.
Yeah, I liked him as well. I know it was more off the Aki issues he was having, some family issues and other things. I did see an interview with him where he talked about coming back and that he'd cleaned up his life, he'd gotten things straight, and I think his management team stuck beside him and has helped him through this. I'm excited to see him come back. I liked his personality. I like to see him and Gerwin, and there's got to be a little bit of the bad boy in darts. You need that. Yeah. You need the Eric Bristows. You need that situation because it drives. If everybody's nice and happy, I don't want to watch that. I want to see a little bit of rivalry. So like that. So the last question I have for you, and I'm just out of curiosity, are we going to see Bob's? Is she going to get her tour card?
I doubt it. If she keeps practicing, you never know. You never know. I used to play county youth darts against Fallon when she was probably like 14, 15, and you never watched her play and thought, wow, she's going to be the next biggest thing in darts when she was like that young. But obviously she'd only just started playing really. So it's all possible. I mean, I don't think she has the drive to do that. I think that's a little bit out of her depth. She's got enough going on at the moment without having to worry about playing darts. But we are doing the Bobs versus Jody, like the decider, because it's currently 2-1 all. So we're trying to like get that teed up for like before the match play final, the following Sunday. So we'll see if she can win that. Then you never know.
We'll see where it goes. So I have had this idea, and Scottish Lad kind of brought it up here, and I'll post it up here. I've had this idea that we need to come up with a league or a set of tournaments, like 4 or 5 tournaments with some of the legends of darts. As darts is becoming so much more well-known, and we've got this set of guys who are kind of retired, semi-retired. I think we should have like a 5-tournament deal around the world where we get to see some of these players come back. Like Bobby George. I would love to see Bobby George and his entrance today, come back and play darts. You think that would happen? You think that could be something?
I don't know. I think they've tried it on an exhibition level, and there's been quite a few of them. I can't remember what they called them. Some Legends tour or something. And I don't think it did like as well as they expected. So I don't know. I personally would love it. I'd love to see it. Keith Della, people like that, Bob Anderson, John Lowe, those sort of players all come back. I don't know if it'd be fair or if they would want to include Barney and Taylor at the moment. I feel like they're kind of too recent to be on that sort of tour. But then again, they are going to pull the viewers in. But But yeah, I think it'd be really good. I'd 100% watch it. And you know, I don't watch loads of darts anymore. And this week coming up, I'm super excited. I think just because there's been a lack of darts, but I would 100% tune in and watch that without doubt.
So let me just because I don't know that we'll get another opportunity to do this, or hopefully, maybe in a couple months you and I can sit down again. But women in darts, with what's happened with Fallon and what we're seeing with the ladies, do you see the PDC incorporating them more so in tournaments like this week's tournament? I mean, couldn't have that been a piece of it? What's your thoughts on it? Because you've kind of been, in the back rooms. What's the idea behind that? To be honest, I don't think that they're going to do it. I've always wanted them to do it, but I think the argument has always been, if you're good enough, then just play against the men. You don't have to you have to start your own league. Like, if you're good enough, then come and join the big boys, play against all the men, and play against the PDC professionals. I would like to see it. I don't know. The BDO at the moment is no one's got a clue what's going on. I don't feel. So what's going to happen with the women over there? Not a clue. Are they going to come over and try? Is there going to be more women at Q School this next year? I'd love to see it. I'd definitely love to see it. And yeah, the problem is they're so full up. The years are so full up with the challenge tours, the development tours, and the pro tours. I feel like they'd really struggle to fit them in anywhere, or they'd have to have two venues going on at once or something. But I'd love to see it, but I just can't see it happening. Yeah, I would love to see a way, and I come up with different ways we could add the ladies. There's certain tournaments we could certainly have the ladies be a part of. And I think you could have kind of like what the BDO offered. You could offer that. The PDC they're big enough and strong enough now, I think, that they could do that, and it would garner the views that they need and the money from sponsorships to make that work. I'd love to see it, because I think the BDO is defunct. I think they're just done. I don't see them coming back and being anything of any strength.
Yeah, me neither.
Which is a shame. And I know in the US we've got the champion darts circuit, so the CDC, not to get confused with the CDC, other CDC, but so we've got that going, and we're producing some decent players. Hopefully we'll get some players that'll get through Q School and produce over in Europe, and we can get that. But I think we're 5 or 6 years away from that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Jack, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know it's evening time for you, dinner, all that other fun stuff to go on. One last thing, how do people get in touch with you? I know there's, of course, the Darts Referee on YouTube, but are you doing anything else, any other social media stuff?
Yeah, Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter, and then I have an Instagram account as well. I probably post 3 or 4 times a week on there. But if you want to speak to me, then Twitter is the way.
Okay, and I will post. I'll find that, because I don't do a lot on Twitter personally, but I will find your stuff and I'll post it in the comments so that everybody can get in touch with you. But hey, Jack, I really appreciate you coming on the show today and talking darts with me. It's been a blast. I'm a fan of yours, so this for me is way more fun than probably for you. I'm a huge fan of what you've been doing. I'm always interested in what crazy item out there you're going to start throwing or shooting at a dartboard.
Yeah.
So keep it up. I'm curious, do you know what the next video is?
I don't. No. I literally have no idea. I need to get on Amazon and buy some sort of long tubular shaped items and put some flights and points on them and see if they fly. I think.
So,
but no, I don't know.
How about a javelin?
That's one of the things that I really, really want to do. I used to throw javelin at a competitive level as well, and that's definitely something that I want to do. But it's just a case of finding someone who's got a javelin or spending £100 on a javelin for one video. So yeah, that's definitely one that's in my mind. It's on a piece of paper somewhere on my desk as well. But yeah, definitely something that I want to do. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'll see what I can do about getting you a javelin, because I want to see that. I'm not going to put it together, but I want to see it. So I'll see if I can scrounge up a javelin for you out there. So,
I
well, Jack,
might.
you can-
I was gonna say I might have to contact my old athletics club and see if they'll lend me one.
Yeah, they should be able to get you one. I'm sure there's one flying around somewhere out there. So yeah. But hey, again, thank you for being on the show. Really appreciate it. Again, I'll be watching your videos, and hopefully, again, we can have you on the show somewhere down the road and just talk more about darts. Maybe for World Championships, maybe we can get together and figure out who we think is going to win it. So
yeah, sounds good. Thank you very much for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thanks again, and
great.
have a wonderful day. Enjoy dinner. I'm sure you're famished at this point. So.
Yeah, I'm actually going live in a few minutes. So I'll come off his and then set it up, and then we'll be live. So be throwing some darts.
All right, great. Well, anybody that's watching, head on over to the Darts Referee channel and catch Jack live. And everybody, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to check out Shot Darts at shotdarts.com and Magicware at magicware.com. Thanks again, Jack. And you can find Jack at the Darts Referee on YouTube. All right, Jack, have a great day. It was fun talking with you. Have a good one.
Thanks very much. You too.
All right, see ya.
See you later.